Hello everyone, welcome back to FTW Philly. I'm your host, Marissa Magnata. Gaming can build communities and support systems in truly unique ways, bringing people from all walks of life together. In this episode, we look at how Philadelphia became such a hotbed for the growth of esports, with all sorts of activity happening right here in our backyard, bolstering the Philly esports scene. Communities and inclusiveness are things that gaming has proven to strengthen, and Comcast is a company that holds these values true. When an opportunity to support veterans arose, they jumped at the chance to give back and bring people together. What a better way to do this than through the power of gaming and friendly competition? Take a look at how the Comcast community members are showing their support for veterans, diversity, and inclusiveness within their local and surrounding communities. Brought to you by Dietz & Watson.
It is my honor and my pleasure to be your host for this evening for the Smash Brothers tournament.
Today we're hosting our first ever Vets Play gaming tournament. We have over 90 military community employees from throughout all of Comcast NBC Universal here in Philadelphia, participating in a great competitive Super Smash Brothers tournament to have the spirit of the military camaraderie, competition, and all for a great cause in supporting Stack Up.
When we launched Stack Up, it was really kind of this idea like, all right, let's go out and kind of kick the door in on mental health and on veteran suicide, and we believe in the healing power of gaming and geek culture, and we want to bring that to other folks who are serving or have served.
Pick a character that looks cool and just jump right in. This A button, this button right here, that's going to be your normal attack.
At Comcast NBC Universal, we have a hiring initiative of hiring 21,000 veterans, National Guard and Reserve, and military spouses by 2021. But just beyond hiring, we also want to make sure that these military community employees are thriving in their careers. And the MilDev Professional Development Symposium is just one of the examples of the things that we want to deliver to those employees.
I'm here for the MilDev program. MilDev is a Comcast initiative. It's a leadership development program that's specific for those of us that have that military background or supporters.
I believe the military veterans bring so much value into the workforce. So I love how Comcast is supporting the military veterans, and we're networking here to work together to win together.
This is a great opportunity here where we get to let loose a little bit and just play some video games and share some of that rivalry that we used to have in the military.
If you look at the active duty military force, 80% are 44 years old or younger. So many of us grew up gaming and have continued gaming into our adult lives. It's a great way to unwind from a good day of training or even on deployment. We used to come off of combat patrols and hook up our PlayStations or our Xboxes and play an awesome LAN party. So gaming is a great way for the military community to connect.
My brother's still active duty in the Army. We still have that time where we can still get together, play a few games, talk a little smack like brothers always will. And then also too, it just gives us a chance to decompress from regular life and just kind of enjoy being in more of a fantasy environment for a little bit.
Gaming can absolutely be a healthy form of escapism. There were times in my own recovery where that was certainly the case. There are also times where, thanks to the multiplayer component of gaming, you're staying connected with your friends, and many times that's helped me personally as well.
Whether you're with your group of friends and you've just overcome a raid or you've unlocked that latest puzzle in whatever game you're playing, you can get those endorphins going and that serotonin and have those really good feelings by having that sense of accomplishment.
My mind, my body, it's all engaged, and for that period of time that I'm playing, I'm not thinking about this thing over here that's been eating away at me. When I hop on the game for a little bit, I get focused on that. Now I'm distracted. And hey, you know what? By the time I turn that game off, maybe that problem that seemed huge doesn't seem as big anymore now that I've created a little bit of distance between it and me. As a small independent charity organization, to be recognized by Comcast, who says, hey, we see what you're doing, we see your mission, and we want to support it, is huge for us. And so when they invited us to be a part of Vets Play, that was a no-brainer. Everybody's, having some good food, good times on the games, and just hanging out and breaking bread together. And I think it's really cool.
We absolutely love the work that Stack Up is doing, and we want to support it. So tonight we will be delivering a $5,000 donation from Comcast.
This is amazing.
amazing. I mean, I've been here since I've been here for 3 years. I've always enjoyed everything in which Comcast have done outside of the box, and I think this is a great way to even bring out more things. I mean, when I first heard about this, I was like, no way, like literally right here, and I was just so excited for it.
Just being able to network, talk with other veterans, share some of those stories about making that transition from military life to a more of a corporate environment.
Everyone that I played against that was a vet, it was great getting to know a few of their stories when I'm talking to them while playing with them, and it was just a great feeling overall.
Gaming can kind of be this lightning rod. Now you've got everybody in one space because we're all just here to have a good time, play Smash. But you know what? When you get a bunch of veterans together, inevitably we're going to start sharing war stories. We're going to start talking about our experiences, the experience of those loved ones that we know and care about who served. And we're all going to find all these crazy commonalities and common ground that we all share. And events like this create an environment where people can do that.
As esports continues to develop and establish itself in the competitive world, players are continuing to look for opportunities to better their skills with fellow local players. Passionate individuals went ahead and formed meetups and mini-tournaments surrounding the games they adore. It's a space and time the players have created to sharpen their skills, enjoy a little friendly competition, and most of all, do what they like with their friends while they still can. Let's take a look. Brought to you by Lebanon Valley College.
So today we are running our CounterStrike Bootcamp. It's a monthly event that we run here at localhost Philly to sort of bring out the amateur scene to the LAN experience and see what CounterStrike on LAN is like.
What's going on behind me here today is the league tournament, uncapped, ELO, so the best of the best are allowed to participate as long as you're not a professional player.
PC gaming historically has been an online endeavor. So like you're in the comfort of your own home, you have your own peripherals, you're full setup, you're cozy and 100% comfortable. But when you get into the highest level of competition, you have to come to a centralized place where there is not any of that going for you. You know, for some of these guys, they're playing on lower end gear, so when they come here, they're getting like crazy frame rate. That's something that they have to adjust to as well.
Today for me was a good indication of where my team's at because currently I have our Drexel school team and 3 of our players are on the Drexel team. So I kind of wanted to get an indication of how we're going to work together, how we're going to play together.
It was pretty fun playing with these guys over here. This is like our first tournament. For us personally, this means quite a lot, I guess, because we've just been playing the game for so long and we've been friends forever, and we finally get to experience that adrenaline when playing with other teams.
Bringing in the aspect of the community is what's so important to me, because a lot of times people can be siloed in their own homes. It's like an isolated experience, but when there's a communal environment like this, people can come out and actually make relationships and new friendships.
When I came to Philly, I was looking for new friends. So the way to do that is really to just do your hobbies, meet other people who do similar hobbies.
Having a baseline where you share interests in like a mutual place, you already know you have that baseline connection, so making friendships is a lot easier than it might be in any other circumstance.
I was looking for the league scene, and I noticed that there were a lot of like isolated communities out there who weren't really playing together. So when I started coming to localhost, I talked to the event manager and we spoke about how we can get tournaments going in the city.
I started coming here once a month to play and meet people and make friends around, and I tried to bring my friends with me too. And I meet Samir, and then he started like inviting me to like tournaments, asking me to sign up if I have a team.
Coming to this LAN over the last year and a half, 2 years, I've made countless friendships that wouldn't have existed if I were just playing the game online.
I've met a lot of incredible people, honestly all walks of life. Like there are teachers that are coming out, there are engineers, I'm personally a chemist, and it is really a very diverse group of people that are coming out and enjoying playing video games together, honestly.
There's a lot of really nice people that are exactly like you, but you never really get to see that until you play with them. You get to meet them, talk to them, and you realize who they are as a person.
There is a demand and a desire for people to want to play esports. Regular people just like me. I'm an amateur, I'm not a pro, I have a job, I have a career. I do this for fun. My goal is just to create the community, let people know out there that there is a league community and they should reach out to the LAN centers so that they can get involved on teams.
If you're not looking to become a professional player, that's not the goal here. We're here to have fun, we're here to show people what the LAN experience is like, and we're here to build relationships between players that have a shared experience and interest in a game.
It's simple. People want in. Esports tournaments around Philly are gaining traction, gathering more involvement each day, especially when it comes to CounterStrike Global Offensive, also known as CSGO. It's a popular game with a long history of healthy, competitive energy. But before we dive into the tournament itself, CounterStrike is a game we have yet to cover on FTW. So let's brief you on CSGO and show you everything you need to know to get started.
CounterStrike Global Offensive, also known as CSGO, is a competitive first-person shooter that pits two teams, terrorists and counter-terrorists, against each other. Weapon and armor availability, damage calculations, monetary gains, and rules can all differ depending on the mode and rule set selected. CSGO has both casual and competitive rule sets, but today we're going to be focusing strictly on the competitive rule set. In competitive play, 2 teams of 5 are set against each other. The best of 30 rounds wins the game. A competitive match focuses specifically on the defuse mode. In defuse, terrorists' goal is to plant and detonate a bomb in one of 2 sites on the map, while the counter-terrorists must prevent them from doing so. Once the bomb is planted and armed, the counter-terrorists still have a chance to defuse it before it detonates. Players do not respawn after death, so eliminating all the players of the opposing team is another way to secure victory. One of CSGO's more interesting elements is the economy system it has. Depending on how you and your team have done, you are rewarded with different amounts of money that can be used to purchase better weapons and armor. These choices allow both teams to adapt their strategies as they prepare for each consecutive round. The best teams will often use elaborate strategies on the field and in the shop in order to aid their chances of winning. While both terrorists and counter-terrorists play similarly in many ways, there are a few differences. Terrorists have access to cheaper and more powerful one-shot, one-kill weapons, whereas counter-terrorist weapons tend to be more accurate but weaker in power. However, if you find weapons on the floor from a player who has died, you have the ability to take it and use it. The fast-paced nature of CSGO makes communication and teamwork especially critical. Victory at the competitive level requires intense focus, adaptability, and highly coordinated effort. Overall, CounterStrike is one of the easier esports games to understand. It's as simple as good guys versus bad guys. Let's see how CounterStrike is making its mark in Philadelphia.
CSGO has laid the foundation for one of the largest open LAN tournaments in the world. That tournament started right here in Philadelphia, and it's known as Fragadelphia. Teams from all over the country of various skill levels can compete in Nerd Street Gamers National Championship Grand Finals for CSGO Fragadelphia 14. With $35,000 on the line and over 30 teams participating, tournaments like this have helped to evolve the amateur esports scene into what it looks like today. Let's take a look at what it takes to hold a tournament of this scale, how it started, and what went down this past weekend at the Grand Finals for CSGO.
The beginning of the competitive Counter-Strike scene was really centered around multiple cities. My team was mostly from the area, so any LAN tournament in the 3-hour radius from Philadelphia, we attended.
Today is clutch day for a number of CS teams in the lower bracket. It's win or go home early for many top-seeded teams.
Prize payouts back then were really sparse. Some companies would come around and throw an event and just not pay out the prize. Back in 2007, when the economy crashed, esports also took like a nap. All the LAN centers had closed. There was no tournaments locally. There was no event that really brought people together. At the time, I was working for Apple. My co-partner was working for some insurance company. And we both said, hey, you remember those tournaments we used to go to? You want to throw one? And the idea was a joke at first. And then I threw out the name. Oh, let's just call it like Fragadelphia because it's in Philadelphia and frag is a kill in Counter-Strike. And somebody was like, that's stupid. And then
it started like a garage band kind of thing, and it still has that feel to it. It's not the big, bright lights, big cameras in your face, so it's a lower pressure atmosphere for a lot of gamers to come in, get their feet wet at LAN experience, but still have prize pools that are worth their weight.
It's an open format, anybody can sign up. In essence, it was ran as a non-profit. We never paid anybody who worked on it. We always took the entrance and turned it right into the prize money. It was the event that was for the players, by the players, supposed to really propel the community.
This is a great source of competition. This really shows if you can perform in front of people, in front of other players. I think it's a great test of your confidence, and it really motivates players to practice harder to get better, to perform.
At one point in time, it was the largest open LAN tournament in the world. Now that the professional landscape has grown,
There's more amateur players and they're looking for a place to play, so we've naturally grown alongside them and helped foster that amateur environment.
I met my actual team, Dignitas, at Fragadelphia, and I became fans of them when I was like 15 years old, and I'm actually playing alongside them now, 5 years later, which is really awesome. It's definitely gotten a lot bigger. I remember it being a very small venue many years ago, and to see it come to this huge venue, it's awesome to see it grow.
There's a lot of games going on, and it's always an awesome experience because there's so many different levels of competitiveness and so many different groups of people being brought together.
It's exciting, it's friendly, you know. I see the same faces every tournament I go to. It's the same people every time. It's just like a reunion pretty much for me.
It's probably the biggest one in the nation, skill-wise and prize pool-wise. You know, you get the $5,000 tournaments, and not people fly in for that, but the $35,000 really starts bringing in the competition.
CounterStrike, unlike some other games, is a team 5-on-5 based competitive shooter. You have two teams, one playing offense, one playing defense. The offense literally has to take a bomb or the ball and put it into a bomb site, which is the goal, and then have it detonate. What really attracts people to it still, I think, is the essence of the teamwork aspect. Winning as a team is really fun. Finding friends, finding that camaraderie. It really brings that team aspect that you can't find elsewhere.
I actually first went at Frag 7, and it was small enough that they had to have it in two separate buildings where the main stage was a block or two away from the regular event. And since then, it has grown from just a couple seats to huge sets of computers and hundreds of people in the venue at a time.
I mean, just look, like if you look at old footage of Frag, you can really see the difference between then and now. Back in the day, it was just something that we did for fun. Now we're in this big venue with all these lights and graphics on the wall, and we've got speakers that are so big they have to be delayed towards the rear of the venue. Even back in the day, you had to bring your computer. It was a BYOC event. Now, the players show up and everything's already here for them. All they need is their mouse pad and keyboard.
We want you to be able to walk in any facility and have the exact same experience. The distance from the goal line of an ice hockey arena is the same in Helsinki, Finland, as it is in Southern California. Video games, we don't really have that. We're trying to standardize those things. Everybody's playing on the exact same computer, same monitor, same internet connection, same settings. So there's legitimacy that's coming from a tournament like this.
You're shoulder to shoulder with everybody. You're down in the pit, you get the trash talk, you have the full atmosphere. When we get down into the last day, like tomorrow, it's gonna get into the nitty gritty, and I think that excitement is what keeps bringing people back.
Last season, Team F51 competed in MDL, and we ended up making playoffs. And now this season, we're looking to at least maybe even win MDL.
Winning is everything to me. When I sit in a practice session with my team for 8 hours a day, we're not doing that to come to an event and win money. We're doing that because we love playing Counter-Strike.
If you're here playing, you definitely know what you're doing. You've seen the teams here before. You're giving it your all.
Anything can happen. You know, you have a keyboard and a mouse. It's just competition. If you play well, you play well. You only have one shot.
Or an open tournament specifically so that we have that upset factor, that whole underdog experience. We have that Rocky moment where the person can knock out a #1 that should never have lost to them. And that experience is what I think makes this type of event better.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the grand finals is upon us. Team Divine versus CSGO MDL. It is a best of 3.
Team Divine's chemistry is really good. As me, Stellar, Kuriku, and Deef.
Oh, I know Team Divine. They're really talented individually. I wouldn't say as a team they're well put together, but on an individual basis, they're definitely good in that aspect.
Floppy, Vanity, they're all coming together right now.
It took a lot of practice to get here on an individual level and a team level. It's something you have to sacrifice a lot of time for.
Josh, get ready to flash in front of me. I'm flashing. I'm flashing again. Somebody smoke that for him.
Spam the CT smoke. We have a lot of experience as a team, a lot of talent, so you know we have a lot of faith in each other as well. And that's a lot of what you need to win.
Perfect takes down Floppy.
Coming to this tournament, we've prepared a lot, and we see these opponents, and we know we are better than these players, and we just play with confidence.
We're not losing. There's no losing today. Knowing the squad I'm with, there's no competition for us.
Are you ready for this match?
Yes, I'm ready to destroy Vanity.
The Sneaky who's got the para, baby! CSGO MDL with the victory.
My hope is that Fragadelphia will become double the size that it currently is. That doesn't mean twice as big a stage, get us LED walls and lights and syncopation with lights. I don't think that's where Fragadelphia lives. Fragadelphia lives right where we are now, just bigger so we can accommodate more. I want to see more people come through, more teams come through, bigger teams potentially, because they just want to be a part of it.
There are players here who have started their pro careers off this tournament. There are casters here who have cut their teeth in Fragadelphia, now have six-figure full-time jobs broadcasting video games. There is a guy and a girl who met each other here that are now dating. That is all come from Fragadelphia, and if that's an example of what this culture is, it makes me really happy and warm. It is family.
The key to getting involved in your gaming community is following the passionate example of those who started on the ground level right here in Philadelphia. Small groups who believed in the welcoming atmosphere of esports have been able to preserve that concept fearlessly, including all of those with an appetite for healthy competition. These trailblazers are the foundation of the movement, and they are helping to grow esports right here in our city. That's it for us today. I'm Marissa Magnata, and this is FTW Philly.